Hi my friends, how are you, belly dance lovers? I'm Laura and here we are again with a new belly dance AZ, and in this case will be AZ trivia. Last time in my last videos I did AZ belly dance styles and you appreciated very much, you told me and I saw also from you. So I decided to prepare a new one, and this time we will see for each letter of the alphabet, each letter a trivia curiosity, something about belly dance or some topics connected to the dance. So let's start. And of course we start with letter A. A came in my mind, I was having many options actually, but came in my mind immediately Arabic language, as all the belly dance music and songs and expressions go through this language, of course, but maybe not everybody of you knows that Arabic language is not really the language of belly dance, but more is Egyptian language that finally is a dialect, one of the different dialects of all the Arabic language. As Arabic language, classical one is used just to read the Quran maybe, or sometimes for the TV news and this kind of things. But every country and every single area has its own dialect, and the most famous and most used for belly dance music is Egyptian dialect. So more than the Arabic language, you have to be focused maybe in this dialect. Actually, I don't feel that it's necessary to learn the language to dance well at all, but for sure to know some words and the way they use it and the way they express the meaning and the words is very, very useful. But the word doesn't have to be Arabic, it has to be Egyptian, as the Egyptian has the perfect feeling for this kind of music and of dance. So let's continue with letter B, and it came in my mind because maybe I like it. Baklava, baklawa, that is a kind of sweet dessert. Actually, is not Egyptian, is Turkish, but let's say all the Arabic word does this amazing. They call it phyllo pastry. It's very difficult to prepare. Actually, I don't know how to explain it. I don't know even how to cook, but I know very well how to eat it. It's very sweet and full of honey and nuts, and this phyllo paste look like spaghetti, but taste it. It's very, very good, and especially used for Ramadan period because it helps after the fasting to prepare the stomach to appreciate it and everything. So let's continue with letter C, and with C we can say cymbals. That actually is the English translation of the word sagat by Arabic, or zils. That this is the special instrument, percussive instruments, normally done by metal, that you put in your fingers and you play with while you are dancing, or just also when you are playing music, because there is also special cymbals for the orchestra. So there are some musicians specialized in this type of sounds. Actually, these cymbals or zils comes from India originally, and so they was absorbed by the nomad population and until Turkey, and of course arrived to Egypt and North Africa, and it arrived until Spain in the castañuela style, the big one of wood, in a different technique, of course, of playing. So let's continue with D, and with letter D we can say maybe desert, as desert is the in the all our imagination of belly dance and of Arabic word is the most common how to say view that we can imagine, landscape. So the desert is what really means the history of these places, of these populations, and also of this dance, because through the desert the Bedouins, many population live the desert, and the Bedouins spread it through, they're moving in the desert, these sounds, this music, these traditions, this dance, of course, and in every place they arrive Of course, they enrich it with new traditions, new music, and new sounds. In the desert, there live many populations, not only the Bedouins, but also because now the desert is really very well built. Many of the cities of the Arabic world are built in the desert. First of all, is El Cairo, that is totally built in the desert, and now it's no more desert because building after building, they put it also the greens and the vegetables and that. Let's continue with letter F, and in this case I choose an icon of belly dance. It means the amazing, most famous maybe dancer Fifi Abdu. Fifi Abdu is a baladi dancer, actually still alive, attention, very active also. Fifi Abdu, she's Egyptian, coming from the countryside, and dances since she was baby, young, and even if she couldn't go to the school, she couldn't really write and read properly at the time, she improved the career of belly dancing. She became so much famous all over Egypt and all over the Arabic world, maybe the most famous, as she was full of energy and full of joy, and she wanted to spread really the dance so much. Till now she dances, of course. She started in the 60s and she became amazingly famous in the 70s, especially with the TV, with the cinema also, and going all around the Arabic world. Also, her career allowed her to become one of the most richest, I say performer, but I would say also one of the richest women of Egypt, for example. It's known she has a collection of jewelry that we cannot even imagine, something crazy. And so Fifi Abdu, I suggest you just to check her performances of the past, because there is always something to learn from her style, full of energy and full of baladi, really. Letter G, and with G I would say galabeya. What is galabeya? Galabeya is a special type of dress that is very common and very used in the Arabic world, as it was the traditional dress since the ancient time, let's say almost the pharaonic time, but even more forward, of course. And this galabeya was perfect with the hot weather and with the desert. Of course, in the ancient time, is a kind of, how to say, a rope long who cover all your body and protect it for sure from the sun, from the wind, from the sand. This was the problems of these people at that time. And every single village, every single country, of course, has its own special type of galabeya, depending on the traditions, the colors and stuff. But most is white, especially for the men, because protect well from the sun. And for the men is normally white galabeya, long sleeve. It's kind of long t-shirt, yes, long shirt, let's say, with long sleeves, and white. And under, of course, you have to wear a kind of t-shirt or something else, and I would call it leggings. Let's say they call it pantalon, actually stretched trousers, to, of course, not to stay naked under. And for the women also there are many different styles of galabeya, but for sure the women are more interested in fashion, in colors, or more decoration, flowers. Depends on the style. Of course, we know that Saidi like to wear the black one or brown, dark brown, and under the white. The Khaliji people, the Arabic Gulf people, they prefer to wear the white one. The farmers, the grey, white, brown, they don't really make a great difference. And depends also how you decorate it with scarves or other details to make your level, let's say, to show your level in the society. I say all this because also galabeya is still much used in all the Arabic world, especially in the free time, maybe not at work, depends on the work you do and the job you do, of course. If you work in a bank, for sure you will not go in galabeya, but if you have a shop, you will feel more free and comfortable with Galabeya. There is a reason why they wear it. So Galabeya, and of course we use Galabeya in dance too, according with the different styles, and we will talk about it in future. H and letter H, this is easy. Habibi. Habibi is an Arabic word. All the dialect, but actually it's very famous all over the world. Habibi means my love, coming from hub, that is love. So Habibi is my love. And this is the most used and I think abused word of all the Arabic word, of all the bell dance songs, of all the love songs, and not even loves. But I have to tell you something. Careful, because Habibi, you have to say to a man, should not be said to a woman. But sometimes the Egyptians, they make it easier, as always. They make the language easier, so even if they talk to a man, they prefer to say Habibi. Even if they talk to a woman, they prefer to say Habibi. More easy to say, sometimes sounds better, because for a woman should be Habibti or Habibati. And this sometimes doesn't fit with with the lyrics of the songs. The other interesting things that I discovered here in Egypt, living here many years, is that you can say Habibi not only for your love. Actually, you don't say it much for your real love. You say it more for your friends, or in a kind of confidential way when you're talking even with people that you don't know at all. For example, if you want to be grateful to someone, so he did maybe a favor to you, and you say Habibi. Habibi, like thank you for what you're doing for me. So it's also a way of talking. So learn this word for sure. Let's continue with the letter I, and in this case I choose Isis wings. That is that prop that we belly dancers we use so much when we perform, especially because it makes us amazing on stage. So these big wings of veil, very big, with stick inside normally to manipulate them well. And sometimes now the new fashion is to have many lights, and everything can be transparent, can be powerful color. This doesn't matter, because anyway on stage with the lights works so well. And why wings of Isis? Because this Isis, or Isis as you want to call it, is this pharaonic goddess, and looks like she was a kind of bird, and when she was searching her lover, she opened up all her wings to search it in the night. It's a kind of legend. So, and also because we saw all these iconographic pictures in the hieroglyphics, and so it remained in our mind, and we used this idea, of course, in the dance. So we have nothing is sure, but for sure we enjoy to dance with wings of Isis. J, letter J, and in this case I searched, actually I couldn't find something really but we can say James Bond, especially one old edition. I think it was in the 60s, more or less, or in the 70s, when it came out with the movie From Russia with Love. And there was a very famous scene of belly dancing in the desert. And the dancer was actually, her name, wait, I wrote it because I cannot remember it. It was, Lisa Guro. Looks like she was British. She was dancing very well, and looks like in the movie Sean Connery was acting as James Bond 007, was enjoying the show very much. And this girl, she performed belly dancer, was one of the first performance on a movie with this amazing visibility all over the world, because the famous 007 of course became famous all over the world. And finally I discovered I wanted to search more, and this belly dancer was not even a belly dancer. She was just working in a airplane company, like I think attendant. But she was loving belly dancing, so she was just starting to learn it. Only after only 3 months, she went to this casting for this movie. Finally, after they checked all the dancers on the market, they choose exactly her, and she became so famous because after this, of course, she did other movies and she performed all over the world in most of the clubs, and so after she became really professional. And it was interesting to start a career exactly like this with Sean Connery. Every one of us will love it. And let's continue with letter K, and in this case, I couldn't avoid to choose Tahia Carioca with K, exactly, one of the most famous belly dancers of the Golden Era, Egyptian Golden Era. Tahia Carioca, we are talking about the first years of 1100, maybe 1130, 40. She born more or less in that period, and she was very poor, and she was in a very farmer village in a very desperate life because she lost the family, so she was living with an uncle who abused her of everything. He was a slave, made her slave of the home, so she was having a dream of dancing, of course, like every single girl who watched these famous belly dancers in the movies. And after, because also of this family situation, she decided to escape to Cairo and to start in somehow the career. Of course, she didn't start as belly dancer, she started by cleaning some important flats, but step after step she entered exactly the right place in the right moment, and she became so much famous all over the world. And they call it Carioca exactly because once she performed a very special show inspired to the Latin America dance with a special costume. It was an idea of a choreographer actually, not even again, and she didn't want, but she was a bit forced to do it. But finally it was a success. It was very fashionable at that period. And so after her career fly up till the sky. Letter L, and letter L, I choose Layali. Layali is a way, it's an Arabic word, of course. Layl, what means night, and Layali, my nights, something like this. And actually is a way of singing, very important for belly dancers because it's a way to use the voice, to prepare your voice before you start the real song or the real music. It's a way to take the tone, the correct tone. And don't ask me to try it, of course I cannot, but sounds kind of Yalini, Yaeni, Yalini is a repetitive word. Yalini, Yaeni, Yalini, that means nothing, means nights and eyes, my eyes in the nights, in my nights, in my eyes, something like this. It's just a word, sounds of the words. Yalini, Yaeni, Yalini, Yaeni, and this Layali open up the music and the continuing of the song. And there is a special way how the dancers has to manage this layali that has to be danced. Absolutely. And this is about dance, and of course we will talk about it maybe in a dance class. Let's continue with letter M, and letter M for me is mint tea because I love it. And of course everybody think of Arabic word and think of mint tea, and it's connected also to the desert and to many other things. Mint tea is amazing, first of all. Is the special way how the Arabic prepare the tea and they drink it. Actually, the tea was introduced in the Arabic world by the British, of course, who took it from India, but the Arabic people put their touch. So, of course, they will use their tea. In Egypt, they use much Lipton or dark powder tea, like we call it Arusa, the tea of the bride. But normally they use green tea leaves, They use a special mint that is not easy to find in Europe because they need this special weather to grow up, and this tea is called Nana. And then they use much sugar. Plus, I want to tell you, has to be very hot. There is a way to prepare it, of course. Has to be very hot, and they, for example, the Bedouins, they add some more extra spices to give more intense and strong taste. So every single area, every single village, of course, they have their own secrets for their own recipe. What is interesting, what is common here in drinking this mint tea, that is, first of all, is a kind of ceremony that you offer when you have guests. It's not possible not to offer mint tea to your guests when they come to visit in your house. And another thing, that normally they drink it all day, since the morning till the night. Actually, Arabic people drink much more tea than coffee. They prefer it. Tea is a kind of rituals even while they are working, while they are traveling, while they are doing things. The glass of tea is always with them, and has to be very hot, I told you, and very sweet. And also is served not really in cups, but in glasses. Has to be transparent glasses because they like to see the tea under. Of course, it doesn't have to be done with the bags. No, it has to be powder tea with a big plant of on top. And another interesting thing for me, that they drink it very often before eating. Is a kind of introduction, is a kind of cocktail before the eating. As normally we would like to drink it after, but they drink it before, kind of aperitif, and also after. Okay, so I invite you to try mint tea if you didn't do it yet. With N, and N, of course, is Nile. Let's say it. Nile is for maybe the longest river in the world. If it's not the longest, almost. Maybe they compete with the Amazon River. Anyway, it touched 11 countries. Can you imagine? 11 countries. And is the source and inspiration of all the life in North Africa, in Egypt, and also Middle East. And this is a kind of magic. How, for me, is a magic. I don't understand how just one river can give water, and looks like infinity water, to all the 160 million population of Egypt and Sudan and Ethiopia and Somalia and I don't know many other countries, and Sudan, Sudan I said it, and Eritrea and many other countries. And not possible for me, I don't understand, but it's kind of magic, and makes all this desert land finally a garden. And maybe you don't know, there are also amazing fishes in the Nile. Big, that they, of course, they hunt it, and they cook it in an amazing way. I always eat it, and I like it very much. Let's continue with letter O, and with letter O I would say Oriental, like Oriental dance, Oriental style. Oriental, that is finally the translation of shark or Sharqi. Sharq means east, Oriental, and Gharb means west. So Sharq means Oriental, and Sharqi means my Oriental, in the meaning of the dance. And we say this word, Arabic people actually give this word this meaning of this a special style of dance. First of all, the dance of the Middle East in general, belly dance, but especially, if we want to be more precise, Oriental dances to make a difference between balladi, folk, and Oriental, and maybe other type like modern or ballet or whatever. So Oriental is a special type of this Middle East dance. And it involves only women, and especially the women, the belly, the dancer, the performers who performs professionally in cabaret, on stage. So they prepare a show, they are prepared for this, and they wear a costumes, and the costume normally has the belly out. Of course, it's kind of not naked, but show your body, show your part of your skin. And this is really Oriental style, and it has orchestra and a special type of music, and it's based on the isolation of the single part of the body. So it's about what we call belly dance. But of course, this definition is not so much precise. You can take it more general or more specific as you wish. So let's continue with letter P, and in this case, of course, we have pyramids who make Egypt famous all over the world, and of course is our inspiration for our dance, the pharaohs, all what comes after. And as you can see, when we talk about belly dance, we always come to the origin, to the pharaohs, to the pyramids, and to this ancient and old history. Pyramids, of course, are the famous one are the three of Giza Plateau. Giza is an area inside Cairo, in the other side of the river, let's say. And we have Cheope, I don't know if I'm pronouncing well, Cheope, and Mykerinus, but maybe not everybody knows that there are also other pyramids also in Cairo, more ancient than these three famous ones, the Saqqara and Memphis pyramids. But of course the historical people, they found pyramids all over Egypt, other type not so spectacular, and all over the world. So looks like all over the world they were building these amazing implants. They still till now they don't know exactly how they did it. Let's continue with the letter Q, and also here I will stay in the pharaoh's themes, as came in my mind queen or queens, and as it was very famous, the queens of Egypt, because also it was something important that they were the first females of the world who was really ruling a country, and a big country with they were almost like God for the population, you know. So we have, for example, Nefertiti, and Nefertiti was the most beautiful one. That she was not really a pharaoh, but she was the wife of Akhenaton, pharaoh that was very powerful, but also a very, they say, I don't know, a pharaoh of justice. It was the first one who said that God is just one and not many, as they were saying before. And then there was, for example, Hatshepsut queen, the one who was married with a brother, and after the brother died, she killed the other brother, they say, in the legend, because she was wanted to have the power, and she became pharaoh herself with enormous power all over Egypt, and she lived also long for this. And then we have Nefertari, that she was the wife of the famous, I think the last pharaohs, Ramses II. And then we have, of course, Cleopatra, that she was Greek actually, and we know all the amazing story of Cleopatra. Anyway, all the queens of Egypt were having a story that, of course, they did movies, they did dances, they did the costume, just the costume. We are inspired so much from them. Letter R, and letter R, for example, came in my mind Ramadan. Ramadan is a very important, it's not really connected to the dance, it's connected to the religions of the Arabic people, but it's much important, because you have to know that during this period we cannot dance, at least in the Middle East. So Ramadan is a religious practice that lasts 1 month, and every year will be repeated, but every year it changes the period, because it doesn't have a special day, but it is connected to the moon. So when the moon is hilal, it means it starts to grow. For 1 month there is this fasting period, and for all the Muslims, and actually not only the Muslims, because there are also many Coptic respecting Ramadan, because they like the idea. In this month is a period of cleaning the soul, cleaning the body, self-control, self-empowerment. Is a moment where you control your instincts, so you don't have to eat and you don't have to drink during all the day, since the sun goes up, since the sunrise until the sunset, and after the sunset start we call it the breakfast or the iftar. They can eat and can drink until the day after. So it's very hard to resist, especially when it comes on summer. And also it's not only about fasting and not drinking, it's also about purify your body. So you have to pray, you have to respect the people, you have to not to say bad words, not to shout, not to be aggressive, avoid also drugs, tobacco, and all the bad things that the rest of the year maybe you do. So it's a very interesting period. The interesting is that in this period, and also the people work less and stay more in the family, of course. And in this period it's not really accepted to dance, to do parties, to play music, because they feel is against the religions. But when Ramadan finish, after 1 month, there is the big Eid al-Fitr. That means it's a big parties, let's say parties. Is about families, is about religions also, but in this party everybody enjoy, everybody go to vacation, they eat, they drink, they dance, and they play again, so the life come back as before. Let's continue with letter S, and letter S comes in my mind shisha. Shisha, that should be also called nargile, or also called, let's say in English, water pipe. It's a special instrument of glass and metal, also big, to smoke tobacco. Actually, in the beginning was not really tobacco, but let's say tobacco. And there is this tobacco is burned through some fire. They put in some coke, they put on top, and tobacco mixed with water and some flowers like so I don't know, apple flowers, rose flowers, or others, to give some taste. And through the water finally you smoke the vapor of this. Actually, I never tried because I don't really like to smoke. In Egypt and all over the Arabic world is something like to relax the mind. So it happens that the men especially, is not really cool that a woman do this, but normally the men, after the work, after they finish the job, they go in this shisha cafeteria or ahwa, and they drink a coffee or drink a tea, and they smoke and stay and have a talk. Maybe they play domino, they play something. It's a way to relax a little bit the mind. T, and T is tarab. Learn this word because it's very important. This is about dance. Actually, it's about music, but connected also to the dance, because tarab is we define it like the ecstasy of the ears. When a music is so much inspiring, so much deep, so much, how to say, not powerful in the sound, I mean in the feeling, has so much feeling, they make you fly in another world. So this is tarab in the Arabic word. And normally the famous classic music are in some moment full of tarab. Tarab is very difficult to dance because, first of all, it's difficult even to play and to sing. To dance, because you don't have to cover it, you have to respect this feeling and you have to transfer this feeling to your audience. So it's really professional stuff. Let's continue with the letter U, and U like Kulthum. Kulthum is the most important, is a legendary singer of the Arabic world, and became also so much important for belly dance. Actually, she was not a singer for belly dancing at all. She started as a religious singer, and when she was baby, she was, this is curious, to be allowed to sing. The family, they was dressing her like a boy, because girl at that time, it was in the 60s or in the 50s, I don't remember well, she even before, it was not accepted that a girl can sing in public and this stuff, especially in religious situations. She was singing like a boy, but after growing up, of course, this was not more possible, and also her voice was so amazing, so was discovered from some producers, and she started a career impressive. She traveled all over the world, and she was singing even front of kings of all the Arabic world, and not only, also in England, in France, in America. So when she died, all the Arabic world was like kind of dead with her, and I think all the Arabic world stopped working for 1 week at least to celebrate, or maybe more even. I don't remember if 1 week or 1 month. Anyway, to remind her. Until now, especially the old generation, they still listen their song. It's quite recent that we dance on Kulthum songs, but because her music is full of tarab, because it was composed by the most amazing composer of the time, it's perfect also to be danced, but it's very, very difficult. So it's really professional stuff also. Let's continue with V, and with V came in my mind the King's Valley and the Queen's Valley, and we come back to the pharaohs. In this case, King's Valley is that large area of the, let's say, desert. Yes, it's almost desert, in the one side of Luxor, after the Nile River. It's a large area full of tombs of these pharaohs. They were all together, so when you go there to visit, you will get enormous inspiration, and it's amazing if you like the topic. I suggest you at least once in the life to go to visit this place, because it's really amazing, avoiding summer, trust me, because it's kind of 50 degrees at 6 in the morning, but it's okay. And let's continue with letter W, V, and also in this case I couldn't find nothing, so here I need your help. Please give me a topic about this letter and I will answer you, but I couldn't, so write it in the comment please. I will be very grateful if you do it. So let's continue with letter X, and also in this case it was quite difficult because X is not really a letter used in the Arabic world, and nothing came in my mind, but after thinking, sex, I don't know even if I read it right. He was an important king of Persia in the 500 era before Jesus, before Christ. So and why the Persian king, not even Arabic, just because he for a period he conquered Egypt and he managed Egypt history for a bit, and so it was to complete this letter. I couldn't find nothing else also in this case, but it went better with the letter Y. Letter Y, like Yalla. Yalla is a very famous word all over the world now. We use it, but what it means, it really, which is the real meaning. Yalla comes from Ya Allah, oh God. So it was a religious word in the beginning, and used like between one word and another, just to remind Allah. But now the Egyptians made it not more religious. They use it in any occasion, and most of the occasion is to say Yalla bina. It means let's go. Yalla bina, let's come with me, let's move, let's go forward, or hurry up, don't lose time, or is kind of, you can say it also to say, okay, that's okay, Yalla. So it depends how you pronounce it, in the way, in the situation you use it. Yalla can have many meaning, and it's very interesting because anyway they did songs about, there are festivals called like this, there are it's a lifestyle. Yalla. So Z like Zaffa. I choose Zaffa. Actually, there was many choices of words with Z, but I choose Zaffa because it's very much used and connected to the dance. Zaffa is the wedding, but it's not really the wedding. It's the parade before the wedding party, and it is used in all the Arabic world, but of course with differences between different countries. And as always, before, after the bride and the groom married officially, with the documents and stuff, they do a big party with all the family, friends, sometimes with all the, how to say, all the town, all the village, because sometimes they do it open in the street. And so everything starts with this parade, sorry, kind of procession with musicians, drummers, friends, families, and after, of course, the bride and the groom. And they move all over the streets because everybody has to celebrate with them until they arrive in the place where they will do actually the parties, that of course they're so long, the parties with music and everything. So Zaffa is this, but is also a rhythm that we can use while we dance for a wedding party. And that's it. So we finish our letter. I think I didn't forget anything, but everything maybe come in your mind, something that I forgot or something that you want to suggest. And remember, there is also the letter W view that I couldn't feel. Please write it in the comments. I will be happy to hear from you also. And let's see in the next video with a new topic. Thank you.